What is up, gamers? We're back with Higurashi today. Himatsubushi, part, I don't know, 3, 4. So, we're gonna try to do as much as we can. I found out we're actually just 2 parts away from finishing it. So, we're decently close, but I don't think we'll be able to finish today, just depending on how big the, how much we have left, basically. I don't know how much we have left, but we're close. We're close. Hydrate, bro. I didn't bring any hydration tools today. I didn't bring any hydration tools today, but I appreciate it. Not save. Load. All right. Oh my god, rain. Shut up. Thank you. All right. We already did the tips, so continue. Okay, so, right, they got the kid back because of Oishi, and all the freaking huge battle happened, right? I remember now. That was my first time losing consciousness. You often hear of regaining consciousness on top of a bed, but this was my first time actually experiencing it. Hello? Are you okay? Realizing that I was awake, a young doctor called out to me. I didn't intend to respond, but it seems my body language had told him I was conscious. My head was wrapped in bandages. Yeah, whoa, murder! I honestly doubt anything spooky is gonna happen in the rest of this chapter. I feel like this is just like a lore, and that's it. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Scratches all over my body had also been treated. My sense of pain also returned with my consciousness, causing me to groan from the intense pain shooting all throughout me. By saying that, you've jinxed it. I hope not. Rena creepiness? You mean Rika creepiness? Rena has, like, shown up 0 times. Don't try to get up. Just staying lying down, please. No, don't worry. I freaking mix up Rika and Rena all the time, too. Yeah, still Himatsubushi. It seems like you took quite a few blows to the head. I want you to stay rested so we can monitor your condition for at least the next 24 hours. Where is this? This is my clinic. Pleased to meet you. My name is EDA. Remember that this young doctor was the one in the car headed the opposite way earlier. Is there somebody here? Where's Oishi-san? I'll call him over. There's no smoking inside the clinic, so I had him smoke outside. How is... Well, I guess, yeah, okay. He did get beat over the head with a heckin' rock, so, and he lost a lot of blood. So, it makes sense, I guess. I mean, Oishi also passed out, but from different reasons. Dr. Irie left the room to go call Oishi. The scenery outside the window was tinted with gold. Pouring rain had stopped with the voices of the Higurashi heralding the cooling temperature. I felt that the tone of the Higurashi's voices was comforting. Eventually, I could hear heavy footsteps coming closer, which I reckoned to be Oishi's. The fog that was enveloping my head slowly faded back to reality. What had happened since then? What had happened to the boy? What about the reinforcements from Tokyo? The door to the room flew open, allowing Dr. Yurie and Oishi to enter. So there's no serious damage, is there? I can't promise that. I assessed the wound to his head, but it was dangerous the moment I saw it. Yeah, I feel like it would be. Got it. Wanna have a little chat alone with him for a bit, would you mind? Yeah, go ahead. Call me if anything happens. Oishi, after basically forcing Dr. Yurie outside, shut the door. How are you feeling? Did something I'm not used to, and I'm pretty banged up all over. Oishi brought over a folding chair that was leaning against the wall and sat down beside the bed. No damage to AC. You know, they probably have AC in the building, don't they? I mean, who knows? It's a freaking rural hospital. But it would really suck if there was AC, if there wasn't AC, and somebody had like a freaking fever or something. Yeah, I feel like it's necessary. Were the perpetrators arrested? Fortunately, no. Probably already fled the prefecture or are being hidden by the villagers. Well, we won't let him get away. What about the minister's grandson? They're taking care of him at the station. Your colleagues from Tokyo are rather insistent that nothing be reported. Shige-chan doesn't like that too much. Kidnapping was a confidential matter, so his custody was probably also being kept under wraps. How the kidnapping of the minister's grandson would be handled and how it would be covered up, treated like it never happened, would be handled by the brass. If this case ended without the nation going into an uproar about it, then our job had been done. The possibility that the minister had negotiated with perpetrators couldn't be ruled out. Something like that was no longer my concern. My role in this case was over. Sorry for the trouble. You must think that public safety is rather unseemly place, don't you? No. We all work on the government's dime. Oishi laughed boisterously. When we first met, I was somewhat prejudiced against Oishi, but now that feeling was gone completely. It'd be more convenient for us if this case was handled properly instead of being hidden away. If that happened, we would be able to have something to go at the Sonozaki family with, since they were all behind it. Well, if we just start poking around, we'll get all sorts of pressure put on us, though. What a mess. Are you going to continue the fight against the Sonozaki family after this? Nah. There's all sorts of dark rumors swirling around them. It's not like I have any it's not like I have a personal grudge. Be wise not to step on any toes here. Well, she laughed happily, and I couldn't help but laugh along. Oh, that's right. There was word at the station from the prefectural police. Colleagues arrived at Nagoya and are driving up here right now. Dude, how freaking long would that take them? Jesus Christ. Yes?
You don't want Mana in here?
I'm freaking streaming! Oh my god. My heckin' brother, I feel like every time he streams, he likes to pop his little head in. You've got your battle scars, so you're being recalled to Tokyo, apparently. That's how it's shaking up. Good job. Riken Okonomi is safely over. He wants to be on stream. I told him, I was like, come on stream, freaking show your little face. And he was like, no, I'm shy, ooh woo. And then he did like the, you know. I was being recalled to Tokyo. I inadvertently breathed a sigh of relief when I heard those words. Deeply thankful for your cooperation, Oishi-san. Seems like the collaboration fee I paid you didn't go to waste. Kinda meant that as a joke, though. Oishi took out his wallet, casually pulled out several large bills, and jammed them into the breast pocket of my shirt. This isn't a refund on the collaboration fee here. This is just me gifting you a little spending money. Booze around here is pretty good. Use this to buy yourself a little souvenir. Oishi flashed at me a grin. If your injuries turn out to be not too serious, call me before you head back to Tokyo, will you? The old man and Sato-san said they'd like to set a table with you again. Oh my. Can't refuse that. No tricks this time, just some plain old fun. They always say that. This world is done for if an active officer can cheat that blatantly. It's not that often we meet someone who's more than a match for us. Too bad you're going back to Tokyo. I heard the words going back to Tokyo from Oishi. I was reminded once again that I was relieved from my duties. Soon, Yuki would be giving birth, if she hadn't already. It might still be possible to attend the delivery that I had at one time given up on. When I thought that, the pain from my injuries became trivial. I wanted to hurry back to Tokyo and see Yuki at once. Can you pretend your injuries are a bit more serious and hang around Okinobiya for a bit? I can introduce you to a few nice places. Of course, I won't make you pay for everything. Terribly sorry, but I have to take a rain check on that. My wife is due to give birth any day now. I want to hurry back home. Oh my, I didn't know that. Then you shouldn't be hanging around here. You have to hurry back home. For a while after that, Oishi asked all sorts of questions about my wife, teasing and bantering with me. Wholesome? Extremely. Well then, how do you feel? Think you can get up? Yeah, it's not so bad, thanks to you. Thanks to you. I can get up and walk no problem. Stood up and shuffled around for a bit, which seemed to amuse Oishi. Nah, I just thought that you might not feel comfortable at a hospital in Hinamizawa. We're still in Hinamizawa? Okay. Dr. Yudi's right. Dr. Yudi's here. I'm dumb. I just feel like it's kind of just like not a good idea to stay in Hinamizawa after what we did, you know? But I guess the Sonozaki family wanted, they wanted him to be found, so I mean, it's not that bad, right? Dr. Ise said he wanted you to stay overnight. We still haven't caught the perpetrators. Time being, this is enemy territory for you after all. Saying this hospital isn't safe? Well, Dr. Ide is someone who's well regarded in the community. Don't think anything will happen to you while you're here. And I'm more worried about your mental health. I had relaxed a bit now that things had progressed this far. It was exactly as Oishi had said. When I realized that this was enemy territory, I suddenly felt uncomfortable. But the only thing left for me to do was leave. The chance that I would come to harm was logically fairly low. That didn't mean I was completely safe. That's right. I'm just gonna be lying down, and doing it in a hotel bed won't be all that different. Right. Also think it's for the best. At that moment, I caught a glimpse of the clock over Oishi's shoulder. It was the evening. The hours when I could call Yukie at the hospital were almost over. I wanted to tell her as quickly as possible I would soon be back by her side. I want to call Yukie at the hospital. Oh my god, dude, something's gonna freaking happen, isn't it? Oh my god, she's gonna be freaking dead, isn't she? Oh my god, she's gonna die, or maybe she has birthed the kids, and the kids are dead, and she's dead, or I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Is there a public phone in the lobby? I feel like freaking Sonozaki family, as soon as they freaking ran away from them, he was like, ah yes, this guy has a wife. Let's go track her down and then murder her. Right? She gives birth and the child is Rika. That would be hilarious. I want to call Yuki at the hospital. Is there a public phone in the lobby? No. You newlyweds are all like this. If I recall correctly, there's one by the register. I'll be waiting here, so go ahead. Oishi laughed him while saying that he was jealous. Opened up the window, pulled a cigarette, even though he was in the hospital room. Appreciative of how considerate Oishi was, I sat out to the lobby to find a phone. The lobby was just a short distance down the hallway from the hospital room. Freaking Higurashi, bro. You know something freaking awful is gonna happen when the Higurashi come out, right? Thought that this hospital was a bit too grand for a village like this, but of course it was nothing compared to the general hospital Yukie was admitted to. Running inside a hospital wasn't the best of manners, but calling hours would soon end, so I dashed over in a hurry. There was nobody else in the lobby. It may have been the evening, but there was nobody at the reception desk. Well, this might actually be lucky for me. I wasn't planning to have a conversation to feel guilty about, but it would still be embarrassing to have somebody listen to the conversation between me and Yukie. Taking a quick look around, I soon found the payphone. Digging around in my pockets, I grabbed a few coins. I was calling Tokyo from here, so I would burn through this amount fairly quickly. I picked up the receiver, inserted a coin, and dialed the number for Yukie's hospital, which I had completely memorized by this point. Where? Number for Yukie's hospital had a lot of 8s and 9s, so dialing it in inevitably took some time. Normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but currently, any time was precious. However, I felt that something was strange as I was dialing the number. Trauma game. I know, right? But so far, nothing too traumatic has happened, so I'm really suspicious. We're like 8 hours into this freaking chapter, and nothing insane has happened. I mean, there's been a little spooky moments, but just nothing horrible, you know? I don't know exactly how to put it, but it was as if the receiver was too quiet. The unique white noise from the telephone line wasn't there. Somehow I felt that I wasn't getting any feedback from the phone. Without feeling a response, I hung up the receiver to try again. The coin popped out from the return slot. Reinserted the coin and began dialing once again. The receiver was still dead silent. What is this? Is it disconnected? I was waiting wasting time like this. The amount I had to spend talking with Yuki shrunk. I began to feel needlessly impatient. Excuse me? Felt the presence of somebody on the other side of the glass, so I called out. There was an immediate response, and a man who seemed like a pharmacist came over. Yes, how can I help you? Pardon me, this phone seems to be acting a little strange. Can you take a look at it? Man came over and tried testing various things with the receiver pressed to his ear. Your narration voice is smooth. Oh, I'm glad. I don't know. I'm freaking self-conscious about my voice, I'll be honest. But I'm glad. Come to think of it, this was someone who worked at the hospital, not someone from the phone company. Just as I didn't know much about phones, neither would he. Huh? What's this? Man held up the cord that— oh no. No. It was completely severed. Oh my god. Hey. Is the face on your about panel redraw? I don't think so. It wasn't intentional, if anything. But what the? Well, it's begun. It's begun. Oh god. What the heck is that? Well, this is a dilly of a pickle. What the heck? Who the heck? Okay, that's fine. That's a perfectly reasonable. Yeah, Nipa moment. Oh my god. This is a dilly of a pickle. Can't do anything with this until somebody fixes it. Somebody from the phone company comes and fixes it. Guys, this is a serious moment. If you're looking for a phone, do you want to use one in the office? I didn't want people in the hospital office around while I was talking. Is there another payphone close by? Please do not go out of the freaking hospital, dude. You don't want to do that. If inside the hospital has already been infiltrated, you don't want to go outside the hospital. And it's already evening. It's gonna be freaking dark outside. Let's see, if you leave here and follow the road, you'll come out into the shopping district. I think there's a smoke shop on the corner around here. If you head that way, you should be able to find one soon enough. I was dressed in a hospital gown. I was wearing sandals on my feet. My head was wrapped in bandages. Just looking at me, you could tell I was a hospital patient. No matter how you looked at it, I was not dressed to be wandering outside. That's where the impetuousness of youth came in. Choosing the chance to talk to Yuki even for a little longer, I headed outside in my current state. Follow the road to the shopping district. God, I always keep them on their toes. No, they're 100% going to be expecting this. Because, like, they cut the line to the hecking thing, right? They cut the line to the thing, forcing him to go outside. This was very meticulously planned, you know? Oh my god. I know, right? Lily, 100%. Follow the road to the shopping district. Should be able to find one soon enough. With only those two lines as my guide, I ran outside the gates of the hospital. With the village nestled in a valley, when the sun set, it got dark quickly. Sparse streetlights lit up enough to start attracting moths. Higurashi, knowing the time for their course was soon at a close, redoubled their fragile cries. Finding the payphone wasn't as easy as the person at the hospital had suggested. Was it still up ahead? Did I miss it already? Was I just getting farther away? Great, now he's freaking lost. Just as I was about to be crushed by the wave of uncertainty towering over me, I found a shop on the corner with cigarettes written on a small sign. My joy spurred me onwards. Just as I had heard at the hospital, set next to the counter of the cigarette shop was an antique payphone. I wasn't wearing a watch, so I didn't know what time it was. I probably didn't have much time left, though. But it was enough. Just as long as I could tell Yuki my job was done, and I would be coming home soon. He's not gonna do it, dude. He's not gonna be able to do it. Something's gonna happen. Picking up the receiver, I slid a coin down the slot. It felt like something was strange, just like at the hospital. But even after inserting the coin, the phone showed no response. I hung up the receiver and tried putting in the coin one more time. There was absolutely no response. The phone was dead. It couldn't be. thinking that, I felt along the cord that protruded from the back of the phone. Doing that, my hands found the end of a completely severed line. Oh, okay. Understandable, I guess? What is this? Having now had the same thing happen twice, my bafflement was accompanied by a sense of unease. It seemed that the cord had been severed cleanly by a sharp blade of some sort. And I may be mistaken, but it didn't look like much time had passed since it was cut. Excuse me? Hello? I'm running up the booth window at the tobacco shop. I look for someone in the dimly lit interior. Eventually, there were the sounds of somebody plodding down the stairs, and an old lady appeared. The old lady's plodding lethargic steps, for some reason, only served to make me more frantic. You need some cigarettes? No, it's a lady.
You need some cigarettes? I'll need to get to my husband.
I'm not here to buy cigarettes. Rather, this phone here. Realizing that saying the phone was broken, asking them to take a look at it was going to get me nowhere, swallowed back my words. Sorry, it seems like this phone is broken, and I was wondering if you could tell me when there's another payphone. The old lady moved her jaw up and down slowly, as if chewing on the meaning of my words. It seemed that she wouldn't understand until she had digested things thoroughly.
So the phone is broken. That's a dilly of a pickle.
What? What is happening? Huh? Why is this the thing that's getting repeated?
You should try another payphone.
The old lady directed me to another payphone that seemed quite a ways away. The way of telling me was so long-winded that I inadvertently started to get impatient. At that moment, I spotted a clock in the dim interior of the store. The minute hand was just about to point straight up. Even if there was a phone right here that I could use, I would only be able to tell Yuki a good night with the time I had left. On top of that, my destination was a remote payphone, which I didn't know the exact distance to. If I was in a normal state of mind, deciding to give up the phone today would have been the natural thought process. But at the moment, I had become somewhat stubborn for some reason. POV, you're a pickle. You're getting dillied. Unable to use the phone in the hospital, and coming out here and still being unable to use one, there was no mistaking that I'd become quite insistent on using a phone. Thank you very much. I'll try looking for that phone booth. Using her offer to draw me a map, I left the tobacco shop. Bro, you should have just taken the map, but I guess it would have taken too long. According to the old lady, even though the phone booth was quite far away, it would be easy to find. If I just followed this road straight down, I'd eventually find it. Sand was flapping as I ran. I couldn't help but laugh at myself. I'll admit I was quite steadfast about calling Yukie. There were days when I was tired or busy, and when I wouldn't call her. Even today, my entire body was covered with injuries, and I was dead tired. Top of that, there wasn't much time left. It wouldn't be strange at all if today was one of those days I didn't call her. But having twice been foiled trying to call her, had I become hot-headed about it? Was I like a dog who was being told to stay with a piece of food dangled in my face? What am I doing? Even so, I couldn't quell the uneasy feeling sitting at the pit of my stomach. It was like that with the hospital phone, and the same with the one at the tobacco shop. Both cords were definitely not severed from being frayed by long years of use. The clean cuts indicated that someone had taken something sharp and deliberately cut them. But who? And for what reason? When I thought about that, the uneasier I felt. So I tried to push the thought aside. How much had I run so far? Dude, you can't call at this point. Even if you get to the phone, who the heck are you gonna call? Because they're not going to accept a phone call anymore. The scenery around me was no longer that of a shopping district, with residential buildings scattered about the lonely road. You know, I'm getting like flashbacks to chapter 1. Is this phone booth that he's going to the same one that Keiichi went to and just freaking clawed out his own throat and heckin' died or whatever? The surroundings had already grown dark. I was blatantly out too far for a quick phone call, and it was quite obvious I was far removed from the hospital. Could I get a pizza delivered? Dude. I doubt that, actually. It did what? Higurashi is insane, bro. Insane. In chapter 1, the main character, at the end, just freaking clawed out his own throat and heckin' died. So I'm assuming this is gonna end the same way, but I recalled the clock I saw at the tobacco shop. It might almost be time. I had to run for quite a bit, so my breathing had grown quite ragged. But I just wanted to hear Yuki's voice. I should have just thrown my reservations and borrowed the phone in the office. I regretted it a little. Well then, was it about time to give up? Just when I thought that, I saw the light in front of me. I had finally found it. It was a phone booth! No way! It seemed like the light from the phone booth had recently been changed, as it shone with a vivid white light. Oh yes, prepared especially for him. Although in the gloom of Hinabizawa, there was nothing more than a gathering spot for moths. But in any case, I had finally found it. As my hand touched the door of the phone booth, I realized I was breathing and sweating heavily. I didn't know what time it was right now, but even if it was just for a moment, I might be able to get in touch with Yukie. So I spent all this effort getting here. Turning back without even giving it a try was out of the question. Before I picked up the receiver, another wave of uneasiness washed over me. I was worried that this phone cord might be severed as well. I was the cord in this phone booth. Sweating down, I followed the bundle of cables that ran along the corner into the ceiling. At a glance, nothing was out of the ordinary. I ran my fingers as far as I could along the line to check it out. The only thing they found was a thick layer of dust. Nothing out of the ordinary. I wondered if it was popular in Hinamizawa to cut cords of payphones as some sort of tasteless prank. It might be prudent to talk to Oishi-san about this later. Even if it was nothing more than a prank, it was still vandalism of public property. In any case, this one was fine. This time. Pulling out a coin from my pocket with one hand, picked up the receiver with the other. This time, before the receiver even reached my ear, I felt something was off. The receiver was light. It was more than a slightly uneasy feeling, and it was almost sickening. To verify the source of my displeasure, I peered at the receiver in my hand with a measure of reluctance. What the hell is this? The coiled cord that connected the receiver to the rest of the phone had been ripped apart, the tip of the cable swaying in the air. It was all I could do to restrain myself as a raw and unpleasant feeling worked its way up from the small of my back. It was a type of dread. At that moment, I heard a crunch of somebody stepping on gravel. The light was reflecting off the glass walls in the phone booth, leaving me unable to see the outside into the darkness. I steeled myself and stepped out of the phone booth. Oishi? Rika? The inside of the booth was lit with a strong light, which might have made it warmer in there. Just stepping outside, I could feel a chill wash over me. And there was the silhouette of a person. A small silhouette. Your long hair, that silhouette was blown about by the cool breeze. Yeah, it's Rika, right? Rika-chan! So true! God bless. You won't kill me, right? Right?
Injured people shouldn't be sneaking out of the hospital.
Somewhere in my head, I knew who this girl was. I didn't have any basis for it, but I knew she was that girl.
Right, Akasaka?
She, Rika Furude, was almost like it was, said that almost like it was a warning. Did you do this to the phone cord? Her expression remained unchanged. My question was left unanswered. In other words, no response. Regardless, I felt that she had affirmed my suspicions. Why would you do something like this? Why? The last word had a tinge of anger behind it. I frantically tried to smooth things out. She didn't seem very afraid.
There's nothing that can be done.
Dude, the wife is dead. Has to be. Huh? I interpreted her words as meaning that I wasn't going to be in time for calling hours at the hospital. But thinking about that, it would have been a strange thing to say. Why would she know something like that? I could take what she said to have any other meaning. She just stood there like a mannequin, not even moving an inch. Almost to the point that if the wind wasn't occasionally rushing through her long hair, there would be an illusion that time had stopped.
I know very well that you think I'm disgusting, Akasaka.
What? When did we ever say... We didn't... What? Huh? No. That's not true. Well, saying it like that, Akasaka. Yeah, what? My denial came almost like a bad piece of composed for the poetry slam. Bad piece composed. Oh my god. Yeah. But her words were right on the mark. Really? I always felt something ominous and uncanny about her. Yeah, but like disgusting? Ever since her strange threats at the shrine. Hee hee. She had noticed that my expression was contrary to my words, seemingly laughing at the gap between them.
Akasaka, you coward. Hee hee.
Yuck, children. Oh my god. I'm not a coward. Being laughed at by this small child didn't sit well with me, so I said that.
Even if you find another phone, it's too late.
That's alright. She didn't even have to say it. I was absolutely too late. And I've already missed calling hours, but by the time I reached this phone booth, I was too late. I had no option to give up for today. So I decided that my unhealthy obsession with phones suddenly faded. Even I thought that it was strange that I was obsessed. The strange obsession was now gone. I began to laugh at how hopeless I was. I mean, just look at what I was wearing. It wasn't normal. Hospital gown and sandals, head wrapped in bandages, and my body completely soaked in sweat. It was a wonder the old lady at the tobacco shop wasn't surprised to see me. With waiting to hear Yukie's voice as my motive, I had trisped around the town the entire evening. Dude, so many of these freaking words I've never heard in my heckin' life. I didn't know whether to call it the follies of youth or simply plain embarrassing. In any case, it was all I could do but to laugh at myself.
Now, there's nothing left for Akasaka to do tonight.
You're right, there's nothing. I'll just quietly return to the hospital.
That's fine. Do you know the way?
I hope I do. She waved her little hand as I began to head back the way it came. She began to follow alongside me. Looking at her face, I could see she wore a mischievous smile, as if she was extremely interested in whether or not I would get lost. Is Rika-chan's house also this way?
It is.
Would your parents be mad that you're walking around alone at this hour?
Not really. My parents are busy today, so they probably forgot about me.
Even then, what? Wait, forgot about you. But you're a little baby. Even then, it's best that you head on home. They'll definitely be angry.
Even if they are, it's much more interesting to talk with Akasaka, so I'm fine.
She sat with a face free from worry as she looked up at me once more and smiled. She showed me that smile, that eerie feeling surrounding her faded. Even then, she was still as mysterious to me as ever. We arrived at the corner I had turned at earlier. It was much darker than before. The point of view changed on the return trip. I wasn't very confident that this was actually the corner I turned at. There's no mistake. There's not mistake, there's no mistake. It had to be this corner. As I began to move my feet again, the girl grabbed onto my clothes. It's fine to let the 6-year-old girl just late at night. Yeah, completely, 100% understandable. I get it. What's the worst that could happen? Right? Not like she could be disemboweled or tossed into the forest or anything like that. As I began to move my feet again, the girl grabbed onto my clothes.
Isn't Akasaka going back to the hospital?
Of course, at least I intend to. Am I going the wrong way? Short moment of silence. Eventually, still holding onto my clothes, she began to walk. It was the beginning of the walk to the hospital this mysterious girl would take me on. So, he did go the wrong way. Right? And she's showing him, right? She's not leading him somewhere to kill him, right? The person who was running around cutting all the phone cords was you, wasn't it, Rika-chan? You shouldn't do that anymore.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Really? Really? She tried to play dumb, but it was written all over her face.
Nippa!
Oh, shut up, Rika. It was obvious she was trying to laugh it off, but that adorable smile of hers just made me want to forgive her. I'm gonna be a horrible father, aren't I? The momentary lapse in tension was erased by her next words.
It's good that they found the grandson safe and sound.
Unable to respond right away, sunk into silence. I'd already learned this from Sato-san's info, didn't I? This girl, no, this entire village knew everything since the moment I set foot in it. I considered playing dumb. In the end, I chose not to. Everything being known already, there's no point in me feigning ignorance. Somehow.
That's great. Now you can go back to Tokyo.
Thank you, Rika-chan.
Are your injuries bad, Akasaka?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from the doctor yet, so I don't know if they are or not. Huh? Come to think of it, I vaguely remembered being told to lie down and take it easy for at least 24 hours. Did that mean bed rest?
The wounded shouldn't be sneaking out of the hospital.
People shouldn't be cutting phone cords. That was good. That was good.
Meep. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Then I don't know what you're talking about either. As we played dumb with each other, we both laughed at the same time. Somebody saw us laughing at each other like this, it'd probably bring a smile to the lips. Chances of Akasaka leaving this village alive. Wait. Is that... Oh no, he's just recalling, right? Wasn't very high. I don't want Akasaka to die, so I'm glad you're leaving the village alive. Oh wait, no. This is her saying it, right? Right?
The chances of Akasaka leaving this village alive weren't very high. I don't want Akasaka to die, so I'm glad you're leaving the village alive.
Rika-chan, did you know what I was right from the beginning? Said nothing, but gave a firm nod. Well then, I think you know this, but we're probably somewhat of an enemy to the village. An enemy to the people in the village, I would think. You still gave me lots of warnings. That's right, she said at that time. She wouldn't warn somebody that she was okay with dying. She definitely said something like that. Then I should probably be thanking you.
You probably should. I'm your savior.
What? Saying that, she puffed up her chest proudly. Said it jokingly, but the meaning behind those words was quite heavy. That was because whether I lived or died was a decision that might have been made in a place unbeknownst to me. She said those words with such an adorable smile that it took a few moments of silence for their weight to settle in. I'd been to this place before. Defense Alliance office was here. It was the stone steps leading to the Furude Shrine. Dude, where the heck is she leading him? I passed by before. I was so focused on finding a phone booth that I hadn't realized where I was. If I recall correctly, this shrine is Rika-chan's house, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Looking up at the shrine grounds, it was brightly lit and energetic voices could be heard. What was going on? No. No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no.
There's a festival today.
A festival?
The best and only festival in Hinamizawa. Watanagashi Festival.
Watagashi? Cotton drifting?
Just knowing the name is boring. Do you want to take a look?
She asked bluntly. Dude, she's leading him to hecking die. What? But she warned him and said that... But seeing that I looked interested, she climbed up a couple of steps and motioned for me to come. So I'm going back to sleep anyways. I had nothing else to do. Might not be a bad idea to go with her on a little detour. It's a horrible idea. Why are you so dumb, Akasaka? In the hostile territory that was this village, I didn't know what would happen if I ventured down a side road without Oishi. Even though I thought the village was like that, even when I was with this girl, I forgot all about it. Let her cook. What, to cook Akasaka? In any case, without anything to back it up, I felt that as long as I was with her, none of the ill will from the village would befall me. That's why, even though I knew my cover was blown, strangely I had no qualms about setting foot into the heart of the Onigafushi Defense Alliance's territory. Climbing up to the grounds of the shrine, you could see there were about 3 pavilions set up, with meeting tables and folding chairs. The old folks from the village, no, the executives of the Defense Alliance, were already quite drunkily sharing another round of drinks. I can only see it as people from the village council drinking while enjoying the evening air. If I remember correctly, the first thing that happened... Okay, let's go with the previous thing of events. Guy got kidnapped, right? And then who died that day? That night, or whatever. Who died? I can't remember. I don't think it was a detective. I don't think so. I could only see it as people from the village council drinking while enjoying the evening air. At the very least, it was certainly quite different than any festival I'd ever seen.
See? It's quite a boring festival, isn't it?
Certainly doesn't look like a festival.
It's a festival that happened since long ago, but as you can see, it's not like it used to be.
As if to chide the old folk, she said that while looking at them with an exasperated expression. I really couldn't call this a festival anymore. It was just a bunch of neighbors getting together to drink under the guise of a festival. The manager of the dam project dies, one of the killers goes missing with a limb. Right. Okay, so Akasaka does not die. Wait, unless he goes... No. He's fine. He's fine. I'm just worrying for no heckin' reason. Okay. Yeah. I feel sorry for the deity being celebrated here.
Give this sorry excuse
for a festival 5 or 6 more years, and everybody in the village will start coming. Wait.
Give this sorry excuse for a festival 5 or 6 more years, then everybody in the village will start coming. The ceremony will also be done properly, and it will be a respectable festival again.
She said it was not so much as wishful thinking as it was telling of a future that had already been determined. She wasn't even predicting it. It was almost like she was simply reporting the results. That's how it sounded. Even though it was a baseless speculation, the way she said it wouldn't let me interject. It was the same way she talked when she changed. While I struggled to find the words to reply to her, she wandered over to the other side of the grounds, not minding me at all. Not in a state where I could afford to be left behind, I hurriedly followed after her. Passing through a copse of pine trees and a strong and cool breeze ruffled my hair. There, from that one evening, was the splendid observation platform the girl had shown me. It had grown completely dark. The modest lights littered across the nightscape were providing a different type of scenery.
Looking at it like this village seems tranquil.
She said that with an indifferent look on her face. Just the other day, you said that this village would definitely wouldn't be submerged by the dam, didn't you? She didn't reply, seemingly relishing in the feeling of the wind blowing through her hair. Didn't that mean, at that point in time, the minister had already complied with the demands? She spun around, her gaze meeting mine. She said nothing. She spoke nothing that would neither confirm nor deny what I just said.
This case will probably remain shrouded in darkness. Headquarters probably doesn't want trouble from a scandal with the minister breaking out.
There's no mistake that they threatened to kill the grandchild.
Then
negotiations with the minister were successful and the grandson was released. The one who saved the grandson was you.
I wonder about that. The discovery of that wallet that started this chain of events. That alone was almost too convenient, I think.
Ever since the moment that wallet was discovered, I felt something odd. Other way around. Oh, dude, when they freaking talk like that, I have trouble deciphering who's speaking what, which is probably like an advantage that the new version has over this one. Oh, she said it as well. The Sonozaki family had given the order to release the hostage, meaning that our little manhunt was a farce to begin with. Come to think of it, I was punched, kicked, and had a gun pointed at me. Felt like they They put up quite a fight. But that might have been all part of a good performance. Most of the negotiations were successful. They couldn't just say, "Here you go," and return the minister's grandson right to his doorstep. They knew that public safety had realized that this was a kidnapping case, so were moving in on it. That's why, due to the action of public safety, the grandson was able to be rescued safely. So the minister didn't give in to any unreasonable demands. The type of performance was necessary.
I don't know about these difficult things.
Likewise. Even for me, I can't make much sense of it. There's one thing I can be certain of. It's just as you said. The village won't be submerged. The dam project will soon be over. That wasn't something an officer of the law should be saying, but I naturally let those words slip from my mouth. The village may have stirred up all sorts of trouble, but that was because they were protecting their homes. Someone just decided by themselves that I had to leave the house I was used to living in. I would resent them as well. Top of that, it wasn't a place like mine where I just happened to be renting it, but a place that their families had lived for generations. It might be ignorant to call their desperate resistance an overreaction. I might not be qualified to criticize politics or bureaucracy, but deliberately building a dam on a land that would loved by its residents wasn't something I could get behind.
Still, aren't you glad?
Why would that be? Oh wait,
Why,
God, freaking backwards!
why would that be?
At the very least, with this, peace will return to this village. Unless, it works either way, it doesn't heckin' matter, does it? Even though the minister promised to use his considerable influence to cancel the project, it'd probably take more than a few months before it would be complete scraps. At the very least, it would probably take 1 or 2 years. For the villagers to officially hear that their village wasn't going to be submerged at the bottom of a dam was still a ways away. But it was no mistake that the promise of peace returning to the village was there. It turned out, from beginning to end, that it had already been decided. Just as the girl had said, it was decided. There wasn't a need for me to come here in the first place. There's absolutely no need for me to have come here and aggravate an unpleasant situation. If I'd never come here, then grandson's release might have been done in a more amicable manner.
He's in this village?
When I nodded, she laughed as if to admonish me. But her face remained indifferent, expressionless. So she said, "Ah ha ha, ha ha ha." And then her eyes narrowed slightly as she snickered.
Even though every year from now on, something bloody will occur?
What? Okay, how does she know that?
Tee hee hee hee.
How that? Rika-chan, what are you talking about? So the wind blew her hair about, the girl as if taking pleasure, and that was the only one who didn't know. Because she's gonna make it happen. What? No. Rika can't be the... No. No. Continued to snicker as she looked at my face for a while.
You see? In a few years, I'll be killed.
Huh? Backlit by the moon, it was hard to tell if her expression that had been cast in shadow was smiling, amused, or was resigned. You are? Why?
It's a very unpleasant thing, though. It's also probably been decided already.
Decided already? Who would decide that sort of thing?
I'd like to know that as well.
Turning back to face me, she showed me a resolute expression for the first time. And after staring into my eyes for a moment, she turned back to gaze at the scenery before she spoke her next words.
There's a lot of people who have no regard for human life. Even if I tell you this, it might not change anything, though. But if you want to erase the specter of death, sometimes, like with the reflection of the moon on the water, all you have to do is throw a small stone.
I had no idea what she was trying to say. It's just, I had to listen to every word with my body or soul. Or at least that's what I thought.
This day next year? Yes, June 1979. On this day, the foreman of the dam construction project will be killed.
What? For a moment, I couldn't comprehend what she was talking about. But the foreman, did she mean that gruff old man I was playing mahjong with? But, be killed? What makes you think? She didn't answer. She had the same expression on her face as she did when she declared that the damn project would go away. It wasn't the face of somebody making a forecast or a prediction. It was something that was already decided. No, it was as if she was already reporting the results. That sort of expression.
After being killed in a gruesome manner, the body will be torn apart and disposed of.
Murdered and dismembered? The next year,
in June of 1980, on this day, Satoko's parents will be pushed to their deaths.
Satoko. It's the first time I was hearing that name. I didn't have the courage to interrupt the girl's story.
Might be an accident. An unfortunate accident.
The girl smiled faintly. She wasn't exactly encouraging me to smile along with a lifeless look in her eyes.
And then, a year after that, this day on June of 1981, my parents will be killed. And the year after that, this day in June of 1982, Satoko's abusive aunt will have her head split open and die. And then the year after that, this day in the June of 1983, possibly a few days afterwards, I will be killed.
If all the deaths are preordained, then the last one would also all be according to plan. But then whose plan would it be? Oh, Yashiro-sama! Have mercy! The village is full of murderers, people who have no regard for human life. It would be fine to believe that all the deaths up to 1982 would be the work of somebody in the village. It would be fine to believe that all the deaths that would occur were the discretion of those who would control the village. Dude, if this is all preordained, yes, what he said, somebody has to have taken it, and I heckin' blame Mion. I will never stop blaming Mion until we get to the freaking answer arcs. Oh my god. That didn't explain what would happen in 1983. There's no way that the last death would fit in with anybody's plans. They had no regard for human life. They would use every means at their disposal to meet their goals. Their goals were at odds with the last death. So the last death was unrelated to them. That last death would definitely, most likely, probably, without question, happen. Probably, definitely, I dare say. The last death would be a merciful one. Handkerchief or something placed over their mouth, making them lose consciousness, never to wake up again. Well, with what happened last time in the last arc, or whatever, she did not die mercifully. Exactly whose plan was that?
I want to live happily. That's my only wish. Surrounded by my precious friends, spending our days enjoyably. Only that. I don't wish for anything more than that.
Rika-chan.
I don't want to die.
Girl, stoic as ever. His last words slip in the end. Eventually, we were discovered by some drunks. The girl, as well as I, were dragged back to the festivities. Everybody was completely drunk, so even when they saw my head completely wrapped in bandages, they wouldn't let me leave. Well, certainly, if I was good enough condition to slip out of the hospital. Might not be that serious. Must not be that serious. The girl was mingling with everybody, being pampered like a kitten. Expression was adorable, nothing like the one from just before. Predicting her own death and whispering that she didn't want to die. Woke up to say hi, going back to sleep, have a nice dream. Thanks, Alpaca. Have a nice rest, homie. Even though it's freaking 2 p.m., I don't think you should be sleeping right now. Stay up as much as you can until an appropriate time. Don't ruin your sleep schedule. Having said that, having a silly and lively conversation like this, it was hard to believe that these people were the core of an extremist resistance group. Even if it was a shell of its former self, it was a festival where people in the village gathered. So the 20-something odd folk here should have included some of the village executives and other important members. Among those, there was no doubt that there were members that were at the Sonozaki family council in attendance. Meaning, even if we never met face to face before, there were people here who knew my identity. A small village like this, they knew the faces of all the villagers that lived here. That's why, without even saying anything, it soon became obvious that I was an outsider. They actually seemed interested by that, asking me all sorts of questions about Tokyo. drinking while musing on the faint relationship the city had with the villagers and empathizing with it, with the rather meager environment. The confidential talks with the minister were finished. His grandson was in police custody. Everything was over. I might not have to be put in another perilous situation. To me, they were only my adversaries because of my job. Aside of that, there was no reason I couldn't be friendly with them. Next time I visited this village, would it return to being the tranquil and beautiful place? If that happened, I might be able to take a relaxed walk around the village with her again. My cup was once again filled to the brim with beer. Dude, that's a horrible decision if you're freaking bleeding out. Jesus Christ. By the time I was able to get away, it was in the middle of the night. The girl had at some point disappeared. It seemed that her parents had told her to go home and sleep when she let out a large yawn. The old folks, who had absolutely no remorse for making an injured person hang out with them, told me as much as they laughed. I was just there drinking, so I had thought to help a bit with cleanup. However, my help was refused on the grounds that I was a guest. On top of that, they had a car prepared to take me back to the hospital. Losing the battle against my sleepiness inside the car, I was sound asleep until we reached the parking lot of the hospital. Wait! I just realized. Rika was talking about the deaths, right? But she said nothing about the people going missing. So, maybe Mion, her gang, whatever, they kill someone, right? And then Oyashiro-sama takes that as a chance to freaking make someone disappear, right? Blah 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 car, blah 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 AC. Losing the battle against my sleepiness inside the car, I was sound asleep until we reached the parking lot of the hospital. The front door of the hospital was naturally locked at this hour. I wandered around bewildered, searching for a back entrance until somebody on night duty found me and let me inside. Where were you at this late at night? Dr. Idiot was worried, you know. Sorry for the trouble. I was held up by the people having a festival at the shrine. Oh, did they say something about everybody in the town council getting together for a drink? They did say something, okay. My condolences. Are your wounds alright? They're throbbing a bit. It's probably because of the alcohol, I think. Oh, that's right. The detective that was with you wanted to get in touch. Oops. I kept Oishi-san waiting. He probably thought... Oishi probably thought Akasaka died or something. I glanced at the clock. No matter how you looked at it, it was way too late to call him now. I'll apologize to him tomorrow over the phone. Returned back to my hospital room, slipped into the bed. It was still unmade from the time I went outside. Ugh, that's no good. I have to turn off the lights. My weariness had cut the cord powering my body, luring me into a deep sleep. Rest. Akasaka. Rest. Is that the freaking halfway point of the chapter, or is that the end of the chapter? Holy heck. Oh, Mother's Diary. Whomst? Whomst? Mother's Diary as in Yukie? Okay. We're gonna view tips and then end stream because I want to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Oh my god. I freaking love all these actual, like... I love it. Mother's Diary. Mother's Diary. Mother's Diary. There was something I didn't like about my child. First realized it when I started writing these things down. They never warn you about it in any books about raising children. They aren't just a plaything. They're unable to feel loved even when they're not doing exactly as their parents want them to. Those parents are failures. It wasn't something like that, though. How can I say it? It's probably hard to express with mere words. I just want my child to be average. As long as they weren't falling behind, there wasn't any need for them to excel at something. Yeah, this chapter is short, so the normal halfway points are going to be end of chapters. Okay. Right. As long as they acted appropriately for their age, I would have been fine with it. My child had been different ever since kindergarten. While the children in her class were running around in excitement about their field trip the next day, she only wore a bored look on her face, aloof and distant. The other kids broke the equipment for the athletics festival and were apologizing fervently. She only wore a bored look on her face, aloof and distant. When the teacher was reading a fun picture book, only she wasn't smiling. Even if they got to eat a delicious bento, only she wasn't smiling. If it was only this, it would be in the realm of understanding. However, what I don't understand about my child is that the aforementioned situations happen again. If the aforementioned situations happen again, they'd now act in a manner befitting their age. I don't understand the principle behind that as a parent. Why were they indifferent about that field trip, but happy about this one? Why were they indifferent about that picture book, but happy about this one? Why were they indifferent about that bento, but happy about this one? Dude, this parent, like, figuring out that children have interests and children don't like everything? Well, this is like... The former and the latter in each situation seemed exactly the same to me. There was even times when I thought the former one was better. I don't understand that child's feelings. During parent-teacher meetings, the teacher always said the same thing. And I was always respond that I don't understand my own child, and we would mope together. My husband, always the optimist, always once said that a young child's feelings are different from an adult's. So if there were some things we didn't understand, we shouldn't worry about it. I lament his lack of urgency. One day, when I was in good mood, I took the effort to prepare a menu that my child would enjoy. She only smiled with a vague expression of disinterest. That attitude frankly made me angry, so I hit her on the head. Oh! Come on. Well, on a day when the weather was nice, the laundry I had hung up to dry was blown by a large gust of wind, causing the entire line to fall down. But she, watching me trying to pick up the laundry in a panic, stood there laughing. The attitude frankly made me angry, so I hit her on the head. Who is this? This isn't Yukie. If anything, this might be Rika's parents? Maybe? I think the same sort of thing happened countless of times. Before I knew it, my child was only able to look at me with it in a different expression on her face. I regret the fact that I've been a bad mother. Thinking I should regain her trust, I thought to get it back little by little with some light interactions. Seeing her do some sort of craft work on the veranda, I called out to her. These past few days have been nice and sunny. The air feels nice, doesn't it? That child, that indifferent look on her face I hated so much, looked up at me for a moment, without a word returned to immersing herself in her craft work. And until now, I would have hit her on the head just for that. I held myself back. What are you making? Is it a doll?
A weather charm.
The child was using inserts from a newspaper to deftly make some weather charms. Forecast hadn't called for rain. That child, in her own way, was praying that these sunny days would continue. Being able to understand my own child for the first time in a while, I couldn't hide my own happiness. Bringing out a ball of yarn, I began to hang my child's cute weather charms from the eaves of the house. It's no good, Rika. The heads are too heavy, see? They've become reverse weather charms now. But like this, they'll call the rain instead of the sun. I started to take them down. My child tugged at the hem of my shirt as if to stop me.
Because I made them to be upside down. They're fine.
But, Rika, if they're upside down, they won't be charms that calls for a sunny day, you know?
I was making a charm for it to rain, so they're fine.
I desperately suppressed the emotions welling up inside me. I was trying desperately to understand my child. Dude, wanting rain is not that bad. Being in Texas, we wish for rain all the time. Like, oh, I see. Morning glories in the garden. We're starting to get a little wilted from all the sun, so you wanted some rain, right? Child turned to me with an expression that I hated the most.
I got bored of the clear weather.
I don't understand. I just can't understand that child. Dude, it is not that hard. This mom just kind of sucks, like, a lot. It is not that hard to understand, I don't think. But then again, not a mother, wouldn't know. Mother's Diary Part 2. She's God, though. Rika's kind of a weirdo. Don't be so mean. She's just quirky. It's fine. During the family council, she buried herself under Odio's futon, Odio-san's futon again. Odio-san dotes on her unwaveringly. No matter whatever, yeah. Whatever insolence my child commits, she doesn't mind. It's almost as though my child is a kitten or something. Odio dotes on her exactly like you would with a kitten. As her mother, I chided her for doing that. So Odio-san had said 3 times that it was fine. I chided her as a formality. Of course, she never lends an ear to any of my chidings. Knowing that Odio-san's standing was far above mine, she behaves like that. I don't like the cunning that's befitting of her age either. In any case, not only Odio-san, but the rest of old folk in the village spoil her too much. One day, I was surprised. By chance, on the way back from some shopping, I saw her by herself just outside a candy shop. My own child suddenly grabbed a snack, opened the package right there and then, and started eating it. She didn't make any attempt to pay for it, and she didn't even think of looking around. I didn't even feel like she was shoplifting, more like she was brazenly eating snacks that were offered to her. When I began to admonish my child, the elderly shop owner appeared and covered for her. The owner gave a ridiculous excuse that he had said it was okay for the child to eat any of the snacks out by the entrance, so it was fine. I tried to pay for the snacks that my child had eaten. The owner refused my money. During that exchange, more old folks had suddenly gathered around and began to feel like I was the one in the wrong. The elderly people put their hands together, reverently, in front of my child and repeatedly voiced their respects. I was born into the Furude family, so it wasn't like I didn't know why she was being treated specially. When I was still young, something I heard often from my grandmother. By chance that the child I give birth to was a girl, that child would be the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. All the older folk believe she's the living incarnation of Yashiro-sama and spoil her rotten. Not only did they spoil her, but they even told her that she was the living incarnation of Yashiro-sama, that she had divine power, threw all sorts of strange folk tales her way. So she may have begun to believe herself that she was a special existence. I went around and told everybody that it wasn't good for her upbringing, so to stop telling her all these strange things. But there was no unrooting the elderly people's deep-seated superstitions. I told my child not to listen to them. It ended up being that she stopped listening to me. To all the old folk in the village who would dote on her, and myself who only scolded her, there's no wonder who she would listen to. There's no mistaking that the reason she had become strange was because of the elderly villagers. There's no doubt that they shoveled her full of strange folktales and superstitions since she was young. If it wasn't for that, there was no doubt my child would have been cute and normal. Wow. Cute and normal. You're saying she's not cute? I mean, she may not be normal, but she's cute, right? Mother's Diary. Part 3. One sunny parent-teacher day, there was a cooking class, and my child was making curry rice with a practiced hand. While the other children her age were awkwardly using kitchen knives, that child was wielding hers deftly. The teacher approached me with a smile on her face, saying it must be a result of learning it at home. I managed to play it off with a vague smile and a nod in response. That was because I'd never once taught my child how to make curry rice. Even then, she was peeling vegetables with practiced hand, adding them to the pot in the order which took longer to cook. For a normal parent, they might unintentionally clap their hands together, happy at their child's actions. But in my case, it was different. There was no mistaking that somebody had taught her how to make curry rice when I wasn't taking care of her. Thinking that, I quietly fell into an unpleasant mood. When I asked, it seems that she could also sew and do laundry. I never taught her how to do those, and again, never saw her do it around the house. Be it cooking or sewing or the laundry. Again, that was probably because the elderly villagers taught her all sorts of rubbish when I wasn't looking. Not only that, they probably taught her all sorts of strange superstitions, trying to prop her up as the living incarnation of Yashiro-sama. I said as much to my husband, suggesting that we should keep our child away from the elderly folk. My husband, who was in the position of being head priest of the Furude shrine, had little power against the elderly who supported it. Took a rather uncommitted stance of saying that as long as she was being doted upon, wasn't it fine? I argued against that. She was our child and should be a completely normal girl. That was what the elderly were expecting, that she was the living incarnation of Yashiro-sama was simply odd. The elderly villagers believe that child has divine powers. We would discuss the weather the following day, but there were many times where I left the house without an umbrella and came back soaking wet. Rather than having clairvoyance, that was just secondhand knowledge from her watching the news all the time. Things that she knew that she shouldn't have known were just the results of people who were trying to indoctrinate her, the people who were gossiping, getting together in the village. However, there certainly were days when everybody thought that it was going to be an all-sunny day, and that child would stubbornly not go out without an umbrella. It would occasionally rain, and in the end, we would be saved. There might also have been times where Rika knew the major accidents in foreign countries faster than the news did. What? I thought she might have heard it break over the radio or something. Knowing things she shouldn't have, something like that, was in front of me right now, wasn't it? The child was making curry rice when there shouldn't have been anybody who taught her how to. No, that couldn't possibly be the case. Somebody had taught her, indoctrinated her. And I wasn't taking care of her? Somebody had indoctrinated Rika with something. Fude-san's curry was absolutely splendid. I'll give it a gold star.
Nipa.
Where did you learn to cook, Fude-san? At home?
Yes, at home.
The other parents in attendance were impressed. Lies. All lies. I didn't teach her anything. Who was it? Who was it? Who was the person who had completely indoctrinated my child? She was my normal, average daughter, not the living incarnation of Yashida-sama. It was me. Yeah, East, it was you. Well, I just got an achievement that, we did all the tips, so there's no more tips after this. But I have a heckin' work, so I don't know if I can finish it today. Can I? I don't know. Yeah, I'll wait. We'll continue this another time. It was me, Barry. Yeah, okay, bud. But, thank you guys for watching and listening. I'll see you guys next time, whenever I heckin' do this next. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Lifting you up from inside. Play with me now. Check the beat, 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 check the beat. Drop.